Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is our Tuesday community chat. I'm Eli Beckman. I'm the mayor. We've got our town manager, Todd Cusimano. We've got assistant town manager, Rebecca Vaughn. We've got Adam Wolf, our planning and building director. We've got our fire chief, Ruben Martin. We've got public works director, RJ Suko. We may or may not have a couple other staff members joining us. We're just going to do some quick updates from our end, and then we'll turn it over to you guys for anything that you want to talk about. As far as my updates, I don't think I have too much to share. Some summaries of items that we dealt with at the last council meeting. We did get a really interesting presentation on fair housing. It was provided by a couple folks from the county, and it was talking about how a lot of homes, and you find this in Corte Madera too, I think, unbeknownst to homeowners, a lot of our deeds have like racist restrictive covenants in them. And so it was a really kind of eye-opening presentation that we had from a couple of folks from the county on basically how you can work with the county assessor recorder's office to go through your deeds, see if you have those items in your deed. You can flag that language, and I believe there's even a protocol set up for folks to have that language legally stricken from their deeds. So I thought that that was a pretty interesting thing to learn about. We had a discussion to basically have our sales tax consultant handle our business license operations. It's a pretty small move, but I thought that that was just a smart move that was brought to us by staff, just kind of further streamlining town operations, freeing up more of our finance staff to handle other matters that are not so readily handled by outside consultants. So I thought that was good. Other than that, I don't think there's too much else that I have to share. There is a new water policy subcommittee from MCCMC, which is the Marin County Council of Mayors and Council Members. That's the big group of all the mayors and council members from every city throughout Marin County. So new water subcommittee there. I think pretty timely with regards to the drought that we are in, hopefully leaving. But obviously we had a huge downpour on Sunday, but I want to make sure that we are not kind of letting our guard down with regards to the drought until we hear that it's safe to do so from Marin Municipal Water District. Obviously, one day of heavy rain doesn't make up for pretty much a year or two of historic drought. So that is all I have to share right now. Do we have any other updates from staff members before we open this up to the public? Adam.
Thank you, Mayor Beckman. Hi, everybody who's on the call. I just wanted to really quickly to publicize for those who are interested, on Thursday evening, State Senator Mark McGuire is going to be hosting a town hall related to a housing proposal called San Quentin Village, and it's actually an interesting project. I personally don't know much about it. I will be listening myself. But apparently it's about 230 units. Half of those units would be reserved for teachers in the Marin County School District, and the other half for workforce housing. So if you're interested in, obviously we're discussing housing right now, and this was an interesting email I got, and it should be an interesting discussion on Thursday evening. I think we're going to put something on our website, but it's at 6:30 p.m. I think if you go to State Senator Mark McGuire's website, there's a release about that if you're interested. In addition, I did, just on drought, to follow up, there's MMWD just recently passed an ordinance that restricts the filling of swimming pools, just so you're aware, if you do not have a submitted building permit by December 1st. I believe it's submitted and maybe not issued, and also restricts the refilling of swimming pools after December 1st if you are draining them. That is with MMWD water. There is a sort of a side door if you, I believe people have trucked in water from other sources. We're not encouraging that. I mean, the best thing to do is postpone those projects entirely until after the drought is over. But if you are dead set on moving forward with the swimming pool project or refilling your pool, you can import water from elsewhere. I don't know, it's probably very expensive, but just want you to community to be aware of those new rules at MMWD. And then finally, we'll be putting out messaging and notices with respect to our next housing element workshop on November 10th, and it should be another informative evening. We're going to put together a panel discussion for that night. So it should be another engaging evening, and talk a little bit about existing conditions in Corte Madera, some demographic information for folks, and continue the conversation there. So please come out for that. Our website for that is cortemaderahousing.org. Let me make sure I have that correct. Yes, cortemaderahousing.org is our website for all information related to the housing element. So thank you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Adam. Any other updates from staff before we turn this over to the public? RJ.
Yeah, just a quick update. Next Wednesday, we'll be hosting a public workshop for Paradise Drive between Westward and kind of our eastern town limit. So this is currently the Paradise Drive Complete Streets project. So it's focused on multimodal, but we'll also be considering sea level rise as well as we invest in an important infrastructure project.
Great. Thank you, RJ. Glad to hear that. Obviously, we don't want to be investing a large amount of money in a project that's right on the bayfront, only to see that thing get hit by sea level rise in the coming years. RJ, would you mind also giving us a quick kind of rundown of how Sunday went for you guys with regards to the storm?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure Ruben has his own share of experiences and memories. Yeah, it was definitely a busy effort, as you can all imagine. For anyone who did go outside during that time, there was a lot of kind of local flooding and other things going on. So we were certainly focusing on that, trying to close roads where appropriate, trying to keep people out of those kind of deeper areas. At the same time, one of the things that may not always be observed or noticed by the community is we're focusing on our pump stations. So making sure that, through all these rolling outages, our storm drain and our sewer pump stations are up and running. And so even though we have backup generators and all of these things as contingency measures, when the events are this severe, things go wrong. And so we were scrambling all over the place, kind of adjusting to the various curveballs that are thrown our way, and feel good about how everything went. There were over a dozen issues, and we were able to get in front of them, and overall came out looking pretty good. So we're happy about how it went given the severity of the storm.
Thanks, RJ. I know, given that I heard that was the most rainfall that we've seen in a day since the 40s. I don't know if those are numbers that other folks have heard, but I think given the kind of flooding that we've seen in Corte Madera's history, and given the historic nature of Sunday's flooding, I think it's very impressive that we didn't just have all of town shut down. So kudos to you and your staff, and also Ruben, to you and our first responders. Thank you so much. I don't know if you have anything that you'd like to share from your perspective about Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. It's for one, I want to give kudos to RJ and his crew with Public Works. We couldn't accomplish our jobs if it wasn't for them. Everything we do on these types of events, it's a team effort, and we rely heavily on them. So it keeps us available for the next impending emergency. But just to be aware, since about 7 a.m. on Sunday to about 7 p.m., we ran a total of approximately 85 calls for service. And those were calls that were brought into 911, whether it was trees down, trees on the power lines, flooding, any kind of issues that we would go out there, assess the situation, see if there was any immediate life threats. And then in order to mitigate it, our battalion chiefs on duty had a direct line into RJ's crews, and were able to relay anything that needed to get done immediately. And they were able to triage every incident to see what priority level it was and try to mitigate the most priority and then go from there. But it's definitely kudos, and it's a team effort from everyone in the town. And we couldn't have done it if it wasn't for the help of Public Works.
Yeah, and I just want to echo that sentiment. I mean, oftentimes they're the first ones on the scene, first ones getting the call, and actually in there getting their hands dirty and helping with these, often flooding issues, which, was not necessarily something that I expected them to be so actively enrolled, for the Central Marin Fire. But it's great that we have that dynamic. And then obviously, the high winds took down a lot of trees. I think we had 30 or so trees that, partially or branches fell or trees fell. So clearing the roads so, vehicles don't crash into them. So yeah, it was a eventful day, very, very busy, but exciting, and glad that from what I can hear, from what I can tell, there wasn't any major issues. So
Great. Well, thank you both, and great coordination among you guys as various departments there. Any other updates from staff?
Eli, can I add something real fast to that? I don't think I told RJ about this yesterday, but I don't think enough is said about the preventative repairs and maintenance that the town has done over the past few years. A resident on Sausalito Street came to town hall yesterday to thank Public Works in person for the repairs that were done on Sausalito Street to the drainage over there that used to back up regularly. He said his house didn't flood because of that work, and there was a lot of water coming down the hill on Sunday. And he helped neighbors set up sandbags that he came and picked up over at town hall. But yeah, helped several neighbors set up sandbags, but the water never got into any of their garages because of that increased capacity for drainage. So he thanked everyone. And hopefully, I told him where he could find Public Works, so hopefully he found you, RJ, and you got to meet him and talk to him.
Great, thank you. Any other thoughts from staff before we turn this over to the public here? And if not, we'll go ahead and open this up. So any folks on the line here, if there's anything that you want to ask us or share your thoughts about, please just go ahead and raise your hand on Zoom here, and we will bring you on to speak. And don't be shy. I'm not seeing any hands go up. A quiet group today. All right, so here's one thing that I will ask, and this is for Adam. Adam, I know that we had recently our first housing element workshop. Would you mind just kind of summarizing real high level for us what kind of what the program was, and what if any was kind of the takeaway that we received from residents' comments?
Sure. Yeah, thanks. So really the first workshop was an introduction to our sort of outreach plan to engage all of our community residents and businesses and other stakeholders in sort of helping us develop new policies for the next decade, and also plan for our state requirement of more than 700 units of housing to be planned for in the next decade. So it was an overview of sort of what the timeline is going to look like over the next year, 16 months or 16 to 18 months or so. And then really an introduction of our team, and then introduction of what a housing element really is in the first place, and some of the state laws that apply to us, and questions of just basic understanding. So really the first couple workshops are intended to be educational in nature, discussion oriented, help inform us on sort of the policy direction we should be, or things we should be thinking about when thinking about housing policy and updating our housing plan. And so some of the feedback, a lot of the feedback there's a variety of things, and hopefully I can remember most of it. We had about 35 to 40 residents, community members, I should say. And we broke into 3 different groups. So I facilitated one group, and that mostly had, there was a discussion about, we should be thinking about, there are questions and prompts. But one of the takeaways I got was there's this single family homes, and then there's a sort of a lagging condo rental market. And there's not a lot sort of like in the newer middle income housing market for home ownership, and that was something we should look to sort of promote and facilitate. Obviously, there was a tremendous need to address some of the high cost of housing came out of the discussion, and some concerns about water and constraints, environmental constraints that may impact our ability to build more housing and grow. Also just a desire to address some of the housing needs of lower income individuals and families and people in our community or others who may be in the region who need housing as well. So, you know, it did run the gamut, but it was a very good discourse. I thought there was a lot of discussion and good feedback for us to work with, and it really was intended to just kick off people thinking about housing in Corte Madera and what it help us as the planners sort of think about how to integrate some of those ideas and discussions into the policies and the update that we will have to do for the housing element. So please, anybody else who, I don't know if Eli, you were there, you wanted to add to that. I will say all of this, if I didn't recap it, we do have summary minutes and meeting notes that are on our website as well. We tried to wrap that all up and into a sort of concise summary for individuals who weren't participants. If any of our participants on the call today want to chime in with their thoughts who might have attended. We got some individuals who never participated, I think, in these workshops before. I didn't recognize, so it was great to meet some new community members. And we hope to do it again on November 10th. So we'll just keep the discussion going.
Perfect. Thanks, Adam. That was helpful. It's just good, I think, for all of us to hear kind of how that first one went and kind of how we're positioned going forward. So thank you. I'll just make one more call for any hands up from folks on the line if there's anything that you guys want to talk about. We've got a hand up from Patty, so we will bring her on.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to say that I appreciated the outreach from one of the members of the Recreation Commission to touch base with me as wearing my age-friendly Corte Madera hat to talk about potential senior programming and the needs for seniors going forward. So it sounds like my my presentation from Age Friendly maybe has some legs, and we'll see if we can get some needs met here. So I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Patty. Anybody else have anything that they want to ask or discuss? And if not, we can let folks go early here. We've got a hand up from Susie.
Hi, everybody. I do have a question. Who manages the website for the town?
Let's see, Rebecca, I think you and Lorena work with a third-party contractor. Is that right?
Hi, Susie. Do you mean the company hosts our website?
Well, I mean, who do you talk to?
Oh.
Who do you talk to if you see something that's wrong or if you can't find something?
You can talk to me.
Oh,
I can get your message to the right person or hopefully fix it.
okay. Well, should I talk to you now or later? Maybe
whatever's easiest, or I can give you a call later if you'd like.
Okay, because there's a couple of things. I find it very difficult to get around, to tell you the truth.
Oh, okay.
And I was trying to find, actually, Ashley, I was trying to find the copy of your meeting last night. And I imagine that it's there someplace. I could not for the life of me find it. And I don't think it's your department that's a problem. I think it's the navigating the website is the problem. So
were you looking for the agenda packet or the actual?
The actual meeting, the actual
video?
recording of the meeting. Yeah.
Oh, it's not up yet.
Okay, but even so, I can't see where I couldn't see where to go to where you would even try to find it. I saw the town meetings, but not the Park and Rec meetings. But anyway, and as long as I'm here, Adam, I came in at the last minute about the swimming pool filling. So I have a question, and I have a swimming pool. And I'm not swimming in it, and I don't need water in it, but I need water in it to keep it clean and everything. And also you have to keep it a certain height in order to run the pump. So I have been, and I have a cover on it, a very tight, heavy, good cover. I've done everything I can think of to possibly keep water in that thing all the time. I open it every time it rains. I close it the rest of the time. But it requires me to leave the hose on for about, I would say almost an hour and a half every month. it's awful. It kills me because I'm being very, very careful and very good about other things. So is that what it means? People who are resident, what do I do if I can't run the pump?
So I'm sort of repeating what information I have from Marin Municipal Water District.
Yeah.
But it's actually, so it's refilling a completely drained pool.
Oh.
Is prohibited.
Oh, all
So,
right.
So that's, you know, that's their rule. I don't know if there's a threshold, you know, like that it's, but that's the email and the information I have. We can post the ordinance that they passed on our website or newsflash or something like that, if that's helpful, or I can send it to you.
It's fine. I can go to them. I'll go to them and ask them that question. I asked them the same question, you know, months ago, because I was concerned about the issue of just having one. It's awful.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll just check with them. Please, you don't have to do anything. I will. But I thought that maybe something new.
I got it right here. I'll just copy the link to the ordinance right here.
Okay, thank you.
Send you an email.
And then I was also thinking, I wonder, Ruben, if the chipper program would be, is it helpful in any way to people who have downed trees and lots of extra stuff from the storm? I know a neighbor of mine here on Seawolf, a tree went down in her backyard and they haven't gotten it out yet, but I got to thinking, does the chipper program offer any help for people like that, or how would that work?
That's a good question. Typically, it's used for fuels reduction during summertime. And
Right.
the way the chipper program got remodified countywide, it's actually run through Fire Safe Marin. We haven't been running the chipper program here locally using local funds for about 2 or 3 years. Everything's been through Fire Safe Marin.
Okay. I was just thinking about that. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Great. Thank you, Susie. Any other hands up from folks on the line here? Anything that you guys want to ask about or discuss with us? And I'm not seeing any hands go up. So if that is the case, we can let folks go 35 whole minutes early here. So just want to thank our busy staff for taking the time to join us. I know that you guys are probably trying to play catch up after a hectic weekend and already have a lot on your plate to begin with. So thank you. And of course, a huge thanks to all the members of the public that joined us today to hear updates from staff and share any questions that you guys have. Let's see, our next public meeting that I'm aware of is going to be the first Tuesday evening in November at 6:30. That's going to be our next town council meeting. So we hope to see folks there. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. Thank you guys so much. Take care, everyone.